And for all the hype about Trent's return to Anfield, he had the least involvement in the game coming off the bench. Liverpool won, Real Madrid nil. And you know what, guys? Watching that game, the first 20 or so minutes, I thought Real Madrid were in it. And after that, Liverpool shut them up completely. And I have to give big, big credit to a player that I think has, despite the slump that Liverpool might have found themselves in the last month or so with losing games in the Premier League, etc. For me, he's been one of their most consistently good players today, and today he's been one of their consistently good players throughout the season, and today he showed it again. I think he's integral to the team, and despite the fact that they have so many options to play in those positions, the fact that Arne Slot goes with him, and he's also Mr. Reliable because he can play in other positions, is none other than Mr. Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai for me is an integral part for Liverpool, and he showed it today because I think he was the catalyst, firstly, for anything that Liverpool were going to get from the game, and eventually when they got their goal, he was the creator of that. His deliveries into the box from set pieces is magnificent, but not just that. I really think today I saw a good battle between him and Bellingham, and in times during the game as well, I saw a good battle between Bellingham and Gravenberch, but I feel like Liverpool came up out on top with all those battles. So we've got a lot to talk about, so be sure to hit the like button, guys. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. Now, let's start with none of those conversations about Szoboszlai. Let's actually start with Conor Bradley versus Vinicius. Firstly, I watched Conor Bradley absolutely lock up Mbappe the last time Liverpool and Real Madrid met in the Champions League, and then I seen him do it to Vinicius again. Now, I've had my questions about Vinicius for the last 12 18 or so months. I've had my questions about him, but in the first couple of months my reservations were solely down to maybe he was struggling with that return from his injury. And I'm talking back, cast your minds back to the Ballon d'Or last year. Ever since then, Vinicius has not been the same player, and then he was out for a bit with injury, and then slowly it took him some time to get back into his rhythm. But I don't think Vinicius has found that rhythm that he had in that magnificent season that he had for Real Madrid, where they won La Liga and they won the Champions League. I don't think he's come back to that standard, and today I think was a prime example of that. In terms of Real Madrid's attack, I think you see here the way that Xabi Alonso sets them up, it changes in game. You've got Camavinga playing as a right midfielder. Arda Güler, for me, minimal impact in the game. I think Camavinga in the first half was quality, and I say this all the time about Camavinga. I would love a Camavinga in Manchester United just because of how good he is off the ball and how good he is in connecting the back line to the front line. But when you got him playing at right mid, you kind of nullify those attributes that he thrives in, and you've got him doing the creative part. It gives Bellingham the more free role because Camavinga comes in, especially in defensive situations, he comes in central to take off that defensive load maybe from Mbappe and Bellingham. But in that, I think you lose the quality he has, which is his ability to get the ball forward like that. And I really think Real Madrid should consider playing a double pivot instead, because they have the qualities and players that have the best of attributes to play as right midfielders. And with saying that, I think it would be nice to see Arda Güler coming off of that right, especially, you know, with his flair, his ability to dribble, his technical level. Again, Liverpool were not threatened from that side of Real Madrid today. Real Madrid, if I saw a heat map for where their attacks were built up from, where they were aiming for 99%, when you've got a left-sided heavy team where Bellingham likes to come off the left and Mbappe likes to come off the left, and then you've got Vinicius playing on the left, and then you've got Alvaro Carreras, who I think again is a good fullback. I loved him and wished he got that chance at Manchester United, but I'm happy to see him thriving. He put up a good battle against Mohamed Salah. I think first half he was good. Second half, as Liverpool grew into the game, he just started to struggle a little bit defending against Mohamed Salah. But Vinicius, Conor Bradley clamped him. Absolutely clamped him today, and that's what you want to see from your young players, especially, like I said, I know that the headlines might have been Trent's return to Anfield, but I promise you Liverpool fans probably don't care about Trent, given the fact that they got Conor Bradley today locking up Vinicius. They're probably saying, Trent who? Conor Bradley done a better defensive job than what Trent probably would have ever done against Vinicius. So I have to give full credit to Conor Bradley, and on the flip side I have to give credit to Andy Robertson as well. I know a lot of people were skeptical of him staying staying at Liverpool this season with Kerkez coming in. But I think he's shown you the qualities that he has that cannot be replaced just yet with Kerkez. Kerkez, I think, still has a learning experience. Now, for me, the first half and the second half were two different kind of halves, especially the early stages of the first half. I really think that's when Liverpool were at their weakest and Real Madrid were at their best. However, with saying that, Liverpool created so much more then Real Madrid were able to create. 17 shots on goal from Liverpool, 8 from Real Madrid, 9 on target and only 2 on target for Real Madrid. And on top of that, I think man of the match for Real Madrid was Courtois. I don't know what it is. Courtois comes up against Liverpool and suddenly he puts in a Manuel Neuer-esque performance. He puts in a quality performance that actually saves Real Madrid from a humiliating scoreline. And I definitely think that could have been the case today with some of the stops that he was pulling out, his clinicalness, his quick reactions. It's something that, you value it in your goalkeeper, and I'm sure Real Madrid fans value what Courtois offered them today, because it could have been a completely different result. But when you look at Liverpool's team, I still think Liverpool are figuring it out. I'm not going to lie. I still think Arne Slot is figuring out what works, what player works, who works where. But I think the core crop of the starting 11 is definitely there. Today, Florian Wirtz didn't get an assist or anything, but I think he had a decent game. Ekitike getting to lead the line with Isaac out. I think he needs to get into that rhythm and that mojo that he was in at the early stages of the season. But I think Liverpool fans will be happy with these 3 points. Were Real Madrid poor? Or did Liverpool make them look bad? I think it's a bit of both. And with Real Madrid, I don't know what it is, but their attack is so static. That's the only way I can describe it. Despite the fact that they got Mbappe, despite the fact that they got Vinny, they got Bellingham, they got, Rodrigo coming off the bench, they got Brahim Diaz coming off the bench, they got Fede Valverde who could get forward, they got Alvaro Carreras who can get forward. Their attack feels static, and time again, I think what we saw today was they get to that final third and Liverpool are so compact. Their players know where to be defensively, and I think it helps having someone like Andy Robertson as well. But it also helps having McAllister and Szoboszlai and Gravenberch in the middle as well, who are very good at defining the space around them and being able to read it very well. Real Madrid get to that position and it's like they don't know what to do. And this is, again, my reservations that I have. This Kylian Mbappe 9 role that he's playing in, again, he's scoring goals and he's getting lots of goals and he's really Real Madrid's best player. But sometimes I feel like in attack, Vinicius just runs down a dead alley every single time. And today, Conor Bradley made it impossible for him to get anything, to a point where Vinicius went down so weakly in the box claiming a penalty. So weakly. Now, I know talking about penalties, people are probably wondering, should the ref have given that penalty in the first half? I don't know. I feel like I've seen it be given in UEFA competitions. And that's why I'm very sceptical about officiating in European competitions, because it's always a rule for one and a rule for another. And there's a lot of inconsistency that I see just in refereeing in general when it comes to the football. But I don't think that penalty shout made a difference for Liverpool, because I think after that they suddenly switched it up a gear and they were knocking on Real Madrid's door consistently. And Mohamed Salah again today was more so looking to create, I think, rather than trying to score. There was a chance that I think he should have laid it off for Florian Wirtz, but he didn't. That could have been the absolute game set match moment for Liverpool. But aside from that, I think Szoboszlai, McAllister, quality. Andy Robertson, quality. I think Gravenberch, again, quality. I enjoyed that battle that Liverpool were in against Bellingham and Real Madrid's midfield, because they came out on top. Now, is this the beginning of something for Liverpool? I don't know, because they got some tough fixtures up ahead against them. They got Man City on the weekend off the back of this game away from home. And then it's an international break. And then they come out and I think they got more favourable fixtures up until the next time that they play, the next Champions League game that they play away from home. They got PSV at home after the international break. And then in December they got Inter, which I think will be a tough matchup for them because of the compactness of Italian football, because of the willingness to play low block, counter attacking, etc. I think that will be a tough matchup for them. But will Liverpool be able to get that run of games that they finally need? Maybe this was the game that could give them the confidence. But it's actually quite interesting to me, guys, and I have to point this out because everybody coming into this game was talking about Trent's return to Anfield, Trent's return to Anfield, Trent's return. I knew he wasn't going to start, number one, because I've been watching Real Madrid and I've seen that he hasn't played for 2 games in a row. He's been an unused sub, he's been injured, etc. But also with saying that, I do genuinely think that Xabi Alonso maybe favours Fede Valverde over Trent in that time right now, because I just think he's more trusted defensively. And those defensive deficiencies from Trent has been on show. You know, it's not really a secret. Despite the fact that it was all about Trent had nothing to do with the story today. Not for Real Madrid, not for Liverpool. It was Conor Bradley, it was Szoboszlai. And I think Szoboszlai as their set piece taker, if Trent, you know, never left, would that have been the moment for him? I think Szoboszlai for me is a phenomenal player. I don't think people appreciate him enough, and I think today he showed exactly that on the European stage. But let me know what you guys think, guys. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit of an underwhelming performance from Real Madrid, but I've come to accept that Real Madrid can be an underwhelming team despite the superstars that they have. I still think Xabi Alonso is trying to figure out what works as well, and this 4-1-4-1, I don't know how much longer it's honestly gonna last for Real Madrid. But let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here.